Well, even if you weren't quite familiar with their game, you should have been familiar with their names. Together, we're terrific. This isn't a team of newbies. They definitely have the skills out here. Vans are taking the first map. They're taking QOR's map pick off of them. I have to say, for a team that's had a lot of roster issues in, like, the last week, I'm liking how things are shaping up so far.
Yeah, for sure. And again, when we're looking at it, they've won this first map together. We're terrific with a last-minute change, integrating Will into the roster and also losing Icy most recently into the rumored G2 roster. So this means to me, it was written all over the walls that they weren't going to be ready for this one because they probably had to do, you know, role changes if Icy's been playing a little bit more controller roles. If he's going into G2 like as a sentinel role rather. I didn't know what to expect out of this roster, and they were just going to pug it out. But technically, we didn't see any pugging coming out of TWT. They had perfect synergy. They had perfect pop flashes on the call. They had great macros and a plan to work towards that mid side and really just take over the map and get these timings against the operator setup from Zeldris from once they got that out. I mean, look at these positions from Pancakes. Look at how they use those smokes to really get him out of position. And there, I called a flash and said it was a Astra stun that went towards the staircase, which allowed to get the opening into the site. These guys were on point on how they were working the map with an Astra in their composition.
And just great communication. You kind of saw a clip from Pancakes where they were just aware of their flank. I don't think QOR really surprised them out in that way, but what surprised me was how good Mame was, who I think we already alluded to just the impact and the importance of a good Cypher on Breeze, and I think Mame really delivered in that role.
Looking at this too, the fact that QOR having more first kills over TWT, but TWT being able to bounce back, I think that also just showcases a good level of team coordination to be able to still come out ahead on this map. So I'm definitely liking what's already shaping up. I was already, Lemon, willing to just say off of this first week that, like, hey, you know what? It doesn't matter because it's been a rough one for y'all. But honestly, there's been so many different step-ups that I think has been really, really impressive. I think Panpeki as well played absolutely out of his mind. He definitely has the pedigree behind him, so yeah, not too surprised, but this was so good.
He was definitely like a silent killer here for Together We're Terrific, because when you're actually looking at how we were calling out the game was all on like Mame's highlight reels that he was getting on defense and Will's opener on how they were doing the attack. But he did such a great job as well, just getting all of these lurks around towards the attack, especially that last round on the 3K that he got there for the team. I got to say, he definitely stepped up to the plate. So overall, when you're looking from A to Z through this roster, Together We're Terrific looks actually quite terrific for this split.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. And Lemon, you already alluded to Mame, and I want to talk a little bit more about him because Mame was someone that we saw come out in Challengers last season, first with Turtle Troop and then on to FaZe. And Mame was definitely someone that we did talk about then. And when you have an impactful Cypher on your team, as you said, it can be that difference.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, go ahead, Lemon Q.
She said me. She
did
said
you?
me.
We all just want to talk about Mame here, all right?
Yeah,
He's fine.
No, I'm kidding.
Mame. Well, Mame was fantastic. I think when you have to solo hold a site, you have to make an important decision. Do you want to leave it and go in and maybe risk them planting, or do you want to try and at least get one for the road, one kill for the road? And I felt like Mame was anchoring really nicely by themselves and bought enough time for reinforcements like Will to come in. And once Will got there, Mame and Will were very consistent at either helping with the retake or even preventing the plant.
And at the end of the day as well for Mame, when I looked at him and I was like, oh, he's playing Cypher, I was like, this is going to handicap him because I always remember him wanting to play a Jet, as I mentioned in the pregame. And at the same time, he's played more controller roles over at Envy. And then most recently, when he was trying to make a comeback in Challengers, he was playing like Viper roles and whatnot. So this is sort of a new role that I see him flourish into. And it shows how deep the agent pool is for Mame. So for a roster in itself for Together We're Terrific, if it has to come down to these moments where there's going to be some patch changes, some agent changes that changes the playstyle or the meta, I think that this is also a roster that could really play different types of roles for to find success and value out of this team.
And I think one lesson that Core can take from this map is how do you stop the momentum from TWT? Because there was quite a few times like TWT on their defense had a 4-win streak at some point. They had a 5-win streak when TWT went on offense, and it was like, oh, economy was getting out of control. TWT got out of control. TWT almost got a thrifty, which that shouldn't even happen. So Core got a lot of thinking to do.
They do, especially too. That was their map pick that they lost here. And now they're going to be heading over to Lotus for a next map in the series too. And Core was this team that we're talking about that we've seen them go through the qualifiers. They were a known quantity. It was a quantity that like, hey, we're kind of excited about this band. So those are the questions. How do they stop that momentum? Where do they have to improve in the second map for us to see this map through?
Yeah, I feel that there's still some flash in a pan for Core when it comes down to trying to stop the momentum over of TWT. And one of those examples is just T-Dog getting an ace with a sheriff, being able to find those heroic plays. And when you're able to find those moments that hypes up the rest of your team, hopefully you're going to be able to string something out of that coming in here for the rest of the roster to hopefully, you know, snowball a couple of rounds into your favor. But we had some perfect timeout calls coming out of together were terrific towards the end as well. So it really comes down to the chess match of what Ocean could do during these timeouts as well, to use them to fruition so that they could actually really counter what Shinobi has cooked up for TWT at this point. So not only are we seeing surface level high fragging power from both of these teams, there's a huge mind game going between the coaching staff of both Core and TWT.
And talking back to Ocean's words about this Core roster in general, I mean, you talked about that, hey, this is more inexperienced players, but have this potential. From that first map, how are you thinking that sort of philosophy and things shake things up? I won't ask for a definitive answer. It's way too early for a definitive answer, but where is that little seedling in your mind right now?
I think the most important part of your mentality as a player is not how to win or what you do when you win, but it's how you react when you lose and how you move forward from that. I think when you have a lot of younger players that lose to maybe teams they feel like they shouldn't have, like Core came out and said, there's not a team that we can't beat, and you lose to a team that literally just signed a player today, that's got to hurt the ego. And what are the egos? What are the personalities on a team like Core? And that's where you look at someone like T-Dog that can maybe bring the vibes out, like you said, Vans, when he got the ace, or you look towards Ocean that says, it doesn't matter if we lose, it matters if we learn. And I hope that Core do that in that short amount of time, whether it is hopefully implementing that in map 2 or into the next match.
I just have to say real fast, I feel like we're kind of disrespecting the player that they brought in. They signed a player last minute, and I'm so focused on that. It was Will. You know, this is definitely a player that's worth his weight there. So I'm intrigued to see how that's going to be going on in our next series as our agent select is ready for Lotus. So I will catch you two later.
Bye-bye. See you soon. Or not soon. This could be a long one. Without that last map. 13-9. And with how, long Breeze can be sometimes with Lotus, I think it's going to be a lot more action. And he got the T-Dog Sova. That's right back.
Yeah, and as I mentioned before, we've seen some Sova play in Collegiate before. There's some good lineups you could do to take control of Tree, to take control of the attack, to run against the amount of utility that could come out from the other side. But this is really a one-off pick, and it's very rare to see this come out. So you'll have to figure out what, Core has been cooking out with. And I think this bolds out well now. You're going into Lotus. There's a little bit more defaulting. You might do a little bit more mid-round calling this time around too with Core. And at this point, when we talked about together we're terrific on Breeze, even though their macro looked pretty good, even if they had to pug it out, they have the firepower to go against their opponents. But for this time, you have to be a little bit more coordinated in terms of utility to really try to flush out the sites when you're going in for the attack here for together we're terrific. So hopefully at this point, with Will going back into a raise role as well, I want to see if we get to see like some flash in a pan of what the potential of Raze could be here in the hands of Will when he was playing here under this 100 Thieves roster, and if the utility could follow him behind it. If not, again, this could potentially bring us to a third map because Core probably has some awesome stuff cooked up here with this comp.
Yeah. I personally would prefer the Fade, especially in the hands of Neptune. He did a great job last map because, well, one, Prowlers are less expensive than an Aldrone, and you get 2 of them. So when it comes to actually getting into the site, Fade may be an easier initiator choice in that regard. And we'll see if that helps TWT, who had flashes of being very fast and executes, and being more defaulty and more steady and patient. They had a lot of variations and were able to force Core to play off of their game, and I wonder if that's what kind of set them back when TWT were able to ride that momentum. So we go to TWT's offense with maybe some Prowlers heading over to C.
Yeah, it'll be a haunt to start things off, potentially to throw towards the mound, but when they don't hear or see any one-ways being thrown, they're just trying to jump spot first. But look at the position you have from Core. They have a Paranoia potential nade to come out, but they're not really trying to fight out towards the mound area, though. Trying to push him back on the tap of the orb. But Will just picks it up and just leaves. What's going on?
Gonna make it look like they're leaving. They said, peek me.
Yeah, they're probably allowing here for them to move up, and Snarly's going to be the point of contact. Then the Paranoia will come through.
Nerve is ready for it. Oh, Mummy just clean like that. Nerve still holding on to the Paranoia. And the classic right click through the smoke. And that's evening things up 1-1 apiece, opening the door, ditching C, seeing what's up at B. Quick rotations from Core to already contest that. The Prowler to be a distraction. The Boombot next. Dell just took some heavy damage. And TWT, now that Viper Wall's not in the way, they could see what's up at left. B. And the Paranoia scared off the top site people. Gonna clear out Baby Door, and maybe B site won't be where we're planning.
Wrote the alarm bot as well, so they know there's already an early lurk inside the A site, and Zip gets the pick. Nonetheless, though, TWT are coming in for the defuse, denied by a Nanoswarm.
Hey, not a lot of time, but the plant goes down nonetheless. And hold this flank from Pancakes. Picks up one. Oh, you hear a lot of stomping, and you don't want that smoke. Pancakes rejoins the squad. A very painful squad. They are low in health. Pancakes ain't getting no help. And Zip with 3 saves it for Core.
It started off so well there with how TWT was working that map. The first pick that you had, you talked about a beautiful shot that they landed onto Snarly towards the C site. Did not allow really Core to go for that trap play with the Paranoia and to swarm out towards the entrance of that C site. Nonetheless, they still got a 1 kill on each side. That said, it came down to the retake play. The lurch was a little bit too preemptive on top of that staircase, which didn't really allow for them to get full closure off the flank on the A site for TWT. So Core had a stronger retake in the end with these ghosts. Nice anchoring from the top of the A site. So that's a great start to kick things off here for Core on defense, knowing that, again, if you're looking at the statistical way of the map, how it's played, it's usually more attacker lenient. So starting off with this pistol is huge for Core with this victory.
And TWT testing out the waters, getting orb, trying to draw out Core to make a hasty decision, maybe peeking at Sandbound. TWT didn't get them to bite on it. So you're going to try that again. This time, I don't think they didn't use a haunt. They're just going to be quiet about it. Not even going to touch the orb quite yet. And this could be Will satcheling in with the Bucky of all things. And no Boombot to kind of lead that way. TWT, Prowler first, Satchel second, Bucky to the face. Does not get the W for Will, but did good damage to Ziff. But damage is not a kill, so Core, knowing that C site is the focus, have now rallied the troops through mid-cut, through top site. The plant goes down nonetheless.
And that's one of the reasons you like to have a fade in your composition as well, because you could Prowler and then get information and time a perfect Paranoia for potentially Will to get some value out of that Bucky. It hurts Ziff, but it still allows Core to play a player advantage on the retake.
Well, the Paranoia was nice, but everyone from TWT was hidden. Now through the smoke, they got to swing together. Core do a fantastic job of synergizing on that swing to retake the site and get the defuse.
And that's annoying to play a pulse plant on the top of the ramp when you're playing so close to the spike, or you're playing in these obvious spots that simple shock darts coming out from T-Dog could do so much damage against you in the long run. So TWT now have to expect that. It's maybe not every day you get to play against a Sova on the defense, but at least, again, just like the first map, you're learning early here on how the defense is currently being played by Core, and you have a chance to adapt.
2 rounds for Core, looking to bounce back. This is TWT's choice of map too. And Core, they had a good start last map. It was TWT forcing them off their game that I felt turned the tides at that moment. So another C-Mound look for TWT. But then one-way smoke, that's something they haven't faced yet. Still going to throw the haunt to see if anyone is really pushed up. And now hearing that there was a shot from C Mound, now TWT going to be more careful in that approach.
And I like that combo because they threw a one-way in front of the C site so that the shot doesn't have to come from somebody swinging out from C main to break the haunt. So they know 100%, just as you called, that somebody's on mound. So they're adding more pressure on that side, which then allows TWT to pivot more towards B and an A lurk. So now you have an opportunity to go for this A BB door to B or just fully hit the A site. But with that, they have a full KJ setup from Ziff back towards the A site, and with a nano swarm to surprise attack behind the tree from Zeldris with his guardian. TWT is walking into a trap.
Yeah, they're lucky they got rubble control, so they didn't give up too much space when they couldn't get sandmount control. So TWT gonna open the door, gonna force the defenders back. You can run, but you can't hide. Ziff down. And TWT on site, tree control. Nature is healing. The plant is down, and QOR open to scrounge up through the top side. But look who's already waiting there. Will with 1 HP. At least his life will be worth the information. But they're all coming through Baby Door and shifting over. Pancakes has the paranoia. All three are there. It's gonna hit all three. And man, the crunch from TWT is beautiful. 5-1 now, and T-Dog can't do much.
Beautiful, flawless. Beautiful entry towards that A site, even though it was a trap play that would have been beautiful there for QOR, at least from the utility and playing behind at util. Will still find a way to satchel through and get a kill and survive at 1 HP. And that does not give any chances for Zeldris to really get some good heavy control towards tree, because he's always going to be afraid of somebody backstabbing him from the A site. So QOR did a good job initially to pivot towards the right spot and hold the right angles, but TWT is just too strong on how they brute forced in the A site.
QOR went away from lockdown. So maybe you're trying to fight for that orb. Will be ideal for them. Yep, got the orb, got the lockdown. Now maybe feeling less pressured. So if C site does get planted, we'll see how Snarly deals with the satchel. You can always depend on the lockdown to help them get through this. So TWT establish themselves on C. You see that Snarly didn't even want to try and contest that. Would rather have the safer approach. Gonna wait at the mid cut and get Nerve in position for a paranoia.
This is dangerous right now because they're not really playing inside the site. And they know that there's no KJ util on C, so they're going to play a lockdown. Yet nobody's pushing towards the waterfall to fight against that. It has to be a lurk first, and T-Dog falls.
Oh, it's two-man lurk of the KJ and the Viper. At least one of them gets shut down, so QOR have made this winnable. They got their lockdown going. Pancakes tries to escape from the paranoia from B door. Nerve doesn't get much for their efforts. TWT only have this fade on site. Neptune has to hold it down. Can't turn on the second one, but Mame holds it down at the sand mound. And TWT have bought enough time for this to not be diffusable. So good round by TWT.
Yeah, that was beautiful in the end by TWT, despite them not pushing out towards waterfall and pushing towards the spawn to try to just catch the rotate over to use the lockdown. What they did was actually just have Pancakes positioned towards the seaside, ready to throw the paranoia. And as he throws the paranoia off the lockdown being thrown, that pushes both players back, which then allows Will to set up a lineup safely to bank off the wall onto the lockdown and destroy, and also get value off the lurk from Kempeki, to really foil QOR's positioning for the retake. So that's very well done. And eco out for QOR, and a stack gamble towards the C site where TWT has been trying to get some control for these orbs at the beginning. They were trying to look for some sort of trap play there because you have so many players close to these ults on this TWT side, but they read incorrectly. TWT focuses on the orbs on the A side, and they should get an open plant. Yet they're still holding it down, though. They're still playing with uncertainty on their end.
Well, at least T-Dog got an orb, so one away from Hunter's Fury. Not too shabby, but it'll be up to Mame to catch these rotations. You hear them stomping. The turret will be bait. Mame has to have trigger discipline. The recon reveals him, so he has to pull the trigger. He gets traded, goes 1-1. And TWT are already planting through A. T-Dog using the drone to see who is around Baby Door, who could be around the tree area, and Rubble. TWT are here to dance, and they don't care about this flank. They want to shut it down. TWT not even needing to approach. They know at a distance they'll win with Vandals. And I guess not. Ziff is just different. And Nerve even gets a shot too. It's 3v2.
Still
Turkey
winnable.
potential for Core.
Still winnable. Okay, no, at this point, with the clock running down, now that you're playing the time on your end for TWT,
Last player standing.
shouldn't happen.
One
Oh, I
enemy
got beat
remaining.
down.
Well-
Shouldn't happen. We're fine. We're good now. We're good.
Well, old farming. Aw. Then that would have made Kinpeki up 1 away from Viper's Pit, but now 2 away. Not bad though.
Yeah, and now at this point, though, I love that Core still did some great damage against TWT on the pulse plan. That's all 5 players falling down when they had pistols to work with only. With a, quad flank that they had towards the A main and still are able to get all 5 players down for TWT. That's a huge W. And as you mentioned, these ults now all available for TWT, dying from their duels against Core. They still have, technically on paper right now, a much stronger value in terms of buy and ult economy versus their opponents. And they're leading towards the C side first. Nerve is ready for that. One way is to start things off, working towards that mount again. This time, I don't really see Mummy setting up for a C-side smoke before they go for the haunt. No, they just did it. Boombot instead. There's the haunt. Just got pinged out, and Nerve TP's away. Doesn't TP away. He's not afraid.
Toxin screen down.
Stand and deliver with the sand mound. We'll see though in TWT, you're gonna deliver a showstopper to the dome. Oh, do you check this corner?
Love
Check
it.
your corners, kids.
I love it.
Really?
No, I don't love it
Wait,
anymore.
you can't
I
choke
don't
that.
love it
You
anymore.
cannot choke that. Unreal. Will is that guy. TWT. Do not panic under pressure. Still a man advantage for TWT. Now the Nightfall goes down at A. And Core have to respect that. 4 versus 2.
Enemy remaining.
TWT holding down their flanks, or at least stopping the retake from
Spike
even getting into
planted.
position. And it's all up to Ziff, who's decided to save this.
Bot coming back.
Initially, I loved it from Core. Because Nerf not only TP'd away from Mound and then did a second TP towards Waterfall. So in the point of view of Will, is like, well, he's TP towards Waterfall. I could focus my Showstopper on that side. And it was a perfect bait for Zeldris on the top of the boxes to get the kill. But because you have a Showstopper dancing around and hopping around, it's so hard to kill models and getting a backstab kill. It's happened to everybody. So Zeldris wanted to make sure that Will would stand still before he gets the kill, and then Will just turns around, sees him, and pops him in the face. That is so unlucky from Core, because that could have changed the whole momentum of how Core was going to play that round. And that puts them in a difficult position in terms of economy in round number 6. That, or even, even is going to be, or round number 7 rather, that it's not looking good here for Core on the defense.
But economical, at
you
least
need
for
that. You need that.
TWT, when you only had to use the Nightfall, you still have Lockdown. I think they still have Viper's Pit, so I think TWT just assessed the site really well. They started all this commotion at C. They even explored the top of site and stopped the rotates from T-Dog from coming in. So TWT were just thinking and acting one step ahead.
Yeah, and you're going to have to play catch up at this point for Core, because this timeout now, it's like, okay, well, we could snowball ults for TWT. They're having perfect reads on their defaults. Their aggression is perfect as well. Nothing really seems to be working really for Core right now when it comes down to like even 5-on-5 situations. So they had to figure something out, especially off that fumble that Zeldris had against Will that breaks their economy. Their swing round is probably going to come around round 8 or 9 that they have to focus on that now.
And just when Core thought they were starting off the map high with winning pistols, it's now 4 in a row for TWT. And that's a very important timeout to ice them as the hockey. Oh, I don't have to explain hockey terms because you're Canadian, right? So we can ice them.
What is that?
What? Are you serious?
Isn't icing people some sort of like Smirnoff Ice thing?
No.
Oh.
It's when you like halt the, you take a timeout, so when they're on fire, you ice them.
Toxins going up.
Oh.
Well, there's... I should know what that type of icing is, but
Poison's off.
we'll see if TWT... Well, they're powered by soda, so maybe
There we
it's
go.
fine.
There you go.
TWT leads the charge through A. Open the door. Who's home? Nobody in tree, but the swing from T-Dog. Wow. That shot with the Sheriff, not bad, but he took a lot of damage in the process. 4v4. TWT established on A. And what's this two-man flank all the way through the attacker's spawn? Oh, man.
And towards the attacker spawn is well done at this point, and they even have a lockdown from Mame. But actually, he's out in the open. He might get caught by Zip here. Oh, not anymore. Timing on that alarm bot, timing on the turret, and could pivot out and play the one-way angle and just keep Zip at bay while the rest could just play inside the pit. This might be too little too late right now for Core to really start initiating back into site. They actually satcheled in.
Okay, see if we can disrupt the pit. That was put down by Kanpeki as soon as the plant went down, and Kanpeki continues to live. And there's so much utility, stuff to worry about. Once you're inside of all that green, all you see is red. Core don't have time to defuse, but hey, maybe they made that expensive.
Yeah, well, that's the second time they make it expensive, but look at the bankroll that you have on that right side, right? You're getting an extra 3,000 for the amount that you got from already in the bank. They're definitely healthy on a buy. They could buy an op on the attack if they want to in the hands of Mame, but they're just going to keep running with the rifles and doing a good job at it, right? What's the point of trying to get an op pick if everything that you're trying to do in terms of scaling as a team works out in your favor in terms of just fundamental traits? Then you'll just keep doing it that way, right? And look at this beautiful utility that was used towards the end to delay and deny the spike defuse. And with that, when you're wasting too much time on the clock, that's GG for you for the round.
Oh, okay. I like this approach out of Zeldris. Usually you don't see Core as aggressive for that A lobby take. You know, they'll throw some utility, but the satchel into rubble is a cool approach and didn't manage to get net any kills. If anything, that inspired TWT to go the other direction towards C. But if they don't hurry, now that Kanpeki notices that flank, TWT might feel pressed to make a move soon, but this flank is not even going to worry. Core actually, that flank is rotating through B. TWT have put down the lockdown, so now they feel safer
so nice.
to go for the plant. Will satcheling in, wants to catch them, but gets caught by a paranoia. It might have shot a little too early in that case, and the plant still didn't even go off. I think TWT fumbled the bag there a bit, and it was salvageable when you lost your lurker there, but TWT looked trapped.
The idea was still quite nice there for TWT, but we could maybe hold that thought for now. Okay, until now I could talk about it because Neptune just died with Spike. They were trying to touch noise and hopefully win some battles there, but it becomes a nice little round for Core. But the idea around that lockdown was to put a one-way smoke out towards the spawn, hoping that the defenders will over-rotate towards that right side of where that one-way would be, where hopefully with the satchels from Will, he'd get a timing and be able to get some sprays and shoot some ankles down and then potentially get a kill. But when the paranoia come out, it was a perfect way for Will to get out of position and then Mummy to try to swing in. But I think they both got hit by the paranoia and they both died in the end. So that's just unfortunate of them not thinking ahead of where Nerve could be on the retake for Core. And they hold a perfect C. Actually, even denying a plant to go down.
Oh! Well, that was loud. I don't think Zeldris wants to find out who else is there. It throws the paint shells just to slow down. Okay, but I have my game sound really loud. So.
Yeah,
that scared me.
I thought you were talking about loud. They're in Madrid right now.
Well, I wish I was. But TWT ahead in numbers 4-3. Plant down at B. Retake. The site's already there. TWT have the dance, and there's a showstopper to break it all up. Will at least flushed out that person from Baby Door, and it's all up to T-Dog in a 1 versus 4, and not looking winnable.
Nope. Another save situation for T-Dog, and really the silver lining that I currently have here for Core is being able to do some econ damage in these post-plant situations where hopefully you're dwindling down the economy good enough so that that one single win that you get currently for Core will force TWT on a save on the next round, and you salvaged enough here on your defensive side. Remember, we mentioned that it's usually more attacker-sided on a 3-side map like Lotus, and that is a mistake that's going to be costly. So you'll get a freebie right there for how T-Dog got that exit kill. But then again, just think about it here. Losing that weapon right now, and look at the buy that you currently have from TWT. If you currently have a win for Core, this could eventually become a 6-5, 6-6, maybe at the end of the 7-5, 6-6 at the end of the half.
see. TWT is still going to opt to add the op for Will. We'll see what they want to take that. Try and contest a rubble potentially, and we'll see if Zeldris will want to be aggressive. Didn't get anything of satcheling in last time. Gonna take a slower, quieter approach this time. TWT gonna leave that spike behind and see what's going on at B. Teleporting over is pancakes, maybe opening the door, and but you also open yourselves up to getting shot. The pit is at C, so that doesn't become a real option. And that Viper's not gonna put themselves in any perilous position to get shot. So TWT really just trying to force mistakes out of Core.
Exactly. They're also trying to funnel them towards the A side hit. Like if there was any type of information that lockdown was going down instantly for Zip, to pivot players back towards the B site when they're going to try to go for a plant. They have a Hunter's Fury on the B site and a Showstopper for the retake. So you're trying to funnel them into the range of T-Dog. But TWT, they're reading this. They're just staying outside of that smoke, outside of that pit, and just trying to find the right timing here.
Oh, the boom bot. Oh, man, that's a lot of pressure on Starly, and he's still holding his own. TWT having to face the fire at C. It's not looking fun. They found success at B last time. Why not? Okay, the lockdown is sort of covering B. So 2 sites down. How about A? And who's holding down beautiful. A right now is T-Dog. Showstopper from Zeldris? Oh, okay, you get a trade. It's actually worth it.
1 for 1, though. They pivot back towards the B site. They have to go for a plant towards B now.
10
Will
seconds
Ziv try to
left.
run out for a hero play? No, they'll let it plant. Retake ensues now for Core. And they're trying to hold this with an operator on the attack in the hands of Kempeki. This is going to be difficult here for Quad. Oh, no. God damn
And
it.
with only 3 people remaining, it's hard to hold this down. And the double swing from Core. Well timed. They could have lost that. And TWT get their spike diffused, and Core start to just take some rounds back because this was getting a little out of hand.
Spike is defused.
I'll eat that fine. Nonetheless, though, it comes down to a lot of resources that Core had to use in that round, though, for that round to happen in their favor. We've mentioned the lockdown, the pit, the Showstopper. All 4 ults were actually used in that very round to scratch over a 4th round win. Thankfully, as we mentioned before, this breaks the economy for TWT where they have a much lower buy, but still something that could be quite potent right now. You still have some great rifles in the hands of Will. They're trying to lean out towards answering back towards an A side rubble push that Core's been doing very often. And they decided instead to just walk across.
This is a different spot for Zeldris. All right, left, right. Timing. Is it there? Oh, you saw the elbow. Wait, you have the op. You gotta chat it up. Why leave? Oh.
But this spaces gain is huge right now. Because now that you fall back and you allow to scale up for TWT towards this A site, this Nightfall could be everything, and realizing there's only 1 player towards the A site. So they move in close. There's 1 close towards the tree. They could use maybe a Prowler look back towards the second side, but instead it's a Nightfall for B, because they have that lurk in the front of the B side for Mame.
Yeah, and you have that T-Dog Sova that thought something was happening at Tree, called over Zeldris, but all the action is at B. As you said, the spike has been planted, and you have all 5 alive. And you gotta spread out. You do not want to get pieced up, and Kempeki catches these rotates, or at least he was trying to, from Tree. And now you know quite a few people from Core coming from the right side of the map, and Will needs to be ready. He takes care of the op, but man, the reinforcements are just too strong out of Core, and it's only the spade from Neptune that's really close to the spike. There's a flank from Mame coming from behind, and that's where the TWT crunch can be huge.
God.
Neptune with 3. Plays his life well. Spike has been tapped, just has to watch it one last time. No time to defuse. TWT go up by 7.
And doesn't even survive to the spike. What a round there by TWT. We've mentioned a much lower buy they currently have on the attack, and you're able to turn it around when they have perfect line of sight with the operator, and 1 slight timing mistake TWT take advantage of that and get a plant on B where they had no business on winning. Look at where Neptune was at. It wasn't even planted for him. All he had to do was dance around, and every single time that he jiggled out, he had a 1v1 at that point. Heroic plays by Neptune. They have 7 rounds on the board, and look at their fragging department. 9, 7, 7, 6, and 5. How do you have 7 rounds? Well, on the other side, it looks like it should be one-sided because Ziff and Nerve are at 15 and 13. It looks like they were supposed to have a much stronger hold on a defense for Core, yet despite having lower fragging capabilities and it's distributed evenly for TWT, it just shows that they're able to just work the map and get the kills when they need to and win those one-on-ones and just have perfect post plants and clutches.
And this is match point for TWT, as in a series point, I should say, and they're ahead. And if you're Core, you came into Challengers together as a team. I mean, even some of them are playing on LAN together, actually. Yeah. And this is a big wake-up call, I think, for Core. Just the level of competition, even from people that don't have the longest of resumes, are still... It's about how you play on the day and who's most composed and who can clutch up when it matters. And right now, it's TWT. Now, after that timeout, you get to think about
cover going out.
How is this A lobby take gonna go?
And it's also definitely a wake-up call for me too, to see that even TWT, that looks like a rookie roster, is still looking quite good in terms of macro that they have in the game, and a wake-up call for me to say their acronym correctly.
TWT will teach you. Not only that, but also some VALORANT, because this is a slow push for TWT. One person on the other side of that door wants to say hello, and it's somebody with an Odin. Snarly, here's one thing, and my headset's about to get so loud.
This is
that
so
Odin's
good.
gonna go burr.
Yeah, they're spraying off the tap of an orb, and at the same time, different position that you have for Core. They're moved all the way up towards the seaside, something that they haven't really done. This allows for you to spray across through the door as well as being tapped, did a bit of damage, and you funnel it towards B and C where they have judges to work with. So will that be the game plan right now for TWT? Instead, it's a paranoia, and they're fighting against the Odin. You don't check it!
What? Check your corners! Oh, man. That's okay, though. I don't know how okay it is. That Odin did do a good amount of damage, especially in the pancakes, and you cannot afford to lose them. Dog with the judge. I'm gonna flame Van Silly. If this works, it didn't. It did not.
It was supposed to, and somehow just a movement coming out from Kempeki didn't allow T-Dot to get the kills, but at least Nerve was there to trade it out. There's only pancakes left, and he's gonna have to clutch with 13 seconds left to run and force the plant. Door opens up, he's able to make it out and at least get the plant for a spawn.
Hey. Oh, who's rolling up? Is somebody with a pistol and just... Yeah, pancakes just get sneezed on. And that's a easy defuse for Core.
Yeah, and you still ended up having a 7-5 scoreline. So despite this looking pretty one-sided for TWT on how they were working the map on the macro, these last-second pivots, these last-second duels that are finally winning, that were finally being won on the favor of Core, allows for them to have a pretty decent finish at the end of the day. When they were 5 rounds in a row, that was won from round number 3 to 7 right there for TWT. It looked like it was going to be GG at that point. The Core definitely has a chance right now on the second half to show what they have on the attack side to close it out.
All right, Pistols was won by Core last time. And that's where the IGLing has really paid off there, but then TWT take bonus and kind of start running away with it, so Core need to have a good handle on this half. And on offense, the play calling has to be perfect. And we'll see how they approach the C site. Thought that Omen was going to throw a smoke down, but no, Core are stomping away. They don't care if you know that they're C.
Yeah, the recon was already a call that they were adding that pressure there towards that C mount and making sure nobody's behind that area and get a free orb, but they're cutting noise and trying to re-hit this. But it's a paranoia, door open.
Okay, Neptune with 2, looking for more. That sand mound's pretty sturdy. We'll see if it helps Kempeki. Any further pushes from Core, and turns out you don't even need to plant. Just need to get kills. TWT, the defense is looking good. They got eyes on Spike. Snarly cutting noise. This is a tough 1v3 to pull off. Snarly, it's their turn to shine. Mummy's in the corner, and Kempeki will get eyes first. Oh, peekaboo.
Easy one. easy one, especially off the trap play that you have. Door opens up and you have the power of numbers and the amount of trades, and you have some great firing power again, as I mentioned before, coming out of TWT. So they're able to win a very strong pistol, and that was an opportunity right there for QOR to really step it up and bring it back, at least tie up the game if they're able to win pistol and convert that second round. I've seen some moments, though, where QOR could pull magic out of a hat in a shorter round that they have, being Chico's that they're working with in round number 2 of the second half. Hopefully T-Dog, they can get some stuff going here with the Sheriff. Leaning towards that C-side control once again, trying to sell this fake, bait it out so that you pull or rotate there, and 3 players are trying to catch some players on the A side of TWT, trying to push out, but nobody's there to be found.
It works out. I mean, it pulled the rotation out of Mame to start leaving the A site, but now just readjusts. Now that C site got a lot more quiet. Really don't know what QOR is up to if you're TWT, but holding firm on the position. Mame gets smoked out, may even swing out of it depending on the timing, could pick up a kill. And that is Kanpeki with a huge double and a snake bite at Tree to stop any follow-up. And it's a 2 versus 4, and Mame gets taken out. 2 from Neptune to save the round, and TWT go up 9-5.
For Snarly to get a 3rd kill like that, moving up on the rope, I'm going to have to commend him for a pretty good Sheriff round that he brought up here in that round number 14. Nonetheless, though, it's still a victory for TWT, converting the first round to a second one, losing 3 players in the process, but some of them didn't have too strong of a buy, which then allows for TWT to still have a very strong bonus round on their defense. Now here comes the call. They still have a Vandal in hand. Do they want to go for some sort of trap play? It seems to be some heavy control towards A. Could Paranoia or One-Way Smoke go for Seize Nade if there's pressure out towards the A side? But as it stays very quiet, they could just lurk up and now pivot some players back towards B and C. Snarly has to come with you too. Walks on the out in the open. Just got sneezed.
The Shiggle B kind of baited him out, and you hate running out blind like that. Snarly got taken out. Zeldris doing what they can. They're traded. It's a bloodbath for C. QOR entered, though, with Spike in hand, and Mame ready at Waterfall with fellow Omen. And there's no Paranoia, but smokes galore. And exploring here at the top, catching them off guard is Nerve. And Paranoia is out. Mame trying to dodge, but it's a good turn from Nerve and the backup from Ziff to clear all 3 players trying for the retake from TWT. And Pancakes is left and a 1 versus 3 with some damage into Nerve. It's not impossible, but it can't be done.
And salvaging 3 guns in the end in your gun round for QOR, you'll take it. Especially on the unfortunate mishap of Snarly coming out of the A main. Because he actually had 2 players dead to rights when he was looking up towards the jump up and towards Rubble, where the Fade actually had utility in her hands and unfortunately couldn't react fast enough to try to get the pick because he was about to use util himself. So that said, him dying gave a call there for QOR to just swarm towards the C site, run those fundies for trades, and win that round. So they still managed to come out with a very strong buy this time around for QOR. While for TWT, of course, it's a gun round on their side. Recon Dart again, once again, mound information. Thing on both. Aggression coming out.
Oh yeah, that was pain chills from the offense. So that pushed Will deeper into sight. Now the smoke may slow this down, and Zeldris doesn't have satchels to make an explosive entry into C. TWT have their Fade already rotated at the Waterfall cut, so TWT were ready for a C push. Now things have quieted down. QOR going somewhere else.
Yeah. And now you see the value as well of having a Sova in your composition. Shock darts raining in towards that C site to break any type of util there. They might use it to entry towards the A site this time around as the Aldrum and clear Rubble. So still a great kit to allow some mid-spacing, some mid-scaling to be done on the attack side. With Baby Door being closed at this point, there's that Shock Dart. It doesn't break the alarm bot, but at least it breaks the Nanoswarm that allows for them to still split towards A if they want to. Players are still leaning towards B. They'll break Baby Door for a plant on the B site.
Yeah, they drew all the attention towards A. Now it's a dance towards B. 30 seconds left. As you heard, the play goes down, and that's first blood for QOR's offense. Now getting kind of split up by the paint shells coming from top on this high ground. Is Neptune hoping to coalesce with Will and Pancakes coming from different corners. And Core are starting to get crunched. And they just need to play their lives. Or ideally take away the ones from the other team. It works out for Zeldris, T-Dog, Snarly. Defending this spike. And it's a team ace for Core.
Well done there for Core on the pulse plan. And you saw there was like a stalemate going on between both Vipers in the end. From Snarly and from Kempeki. One holding towards the staircase, the other one at the door, anticipating that there is somebody playing towards the rubble. At this time, with everybody just hesitating on getting their battles on those extremities from the flanks on C and the flanks on A, it just makes it very difficult for TWT to really flood back in the site, and they've lost time. They lost control of time to try to retake the site. And now they lose the round. They're on an eco, which seems to be the case. So a call out is coming through here for Together We're Terrific. So they can lean towards round number 18. By what? The Sentinels bundle?
That's literally what T-Dog just showed on a sign.
Nice.
Hashtag ad. You got Zeldris praying?
Yeah.
Question mark?
If anything, you mentioned Zeldris, but as we talk about Sentinels, I got to say Zelsis instead, man. This guy's been on point in terms of marketing these capsules for the Sentinels team. We're talking about Sentinels and a VCL right now. That's pretty crazy. But they've definitely done a good job to add the pulse into what they have in their capsules. That said, though, timeout is done. TWT trying to rehash and rework their defensive side because it's not necessarily slipping away from them, but Core are doing a lot of these pivots around the A to C side. TWT maybe has to start focusing on working towards that rubble, or maybe just pushing on extremities on both sides.
All right, Core. Knock, knock. Who's there? Nobody on Sand Mound. A lot of stomping. Many people stomping. Hunter's Fury. Oh, paranoia timing from TWT. Denies the orb and the spike carrier. Got killed, but a responding paint shell from Zeldris right at the entry stops maybe a deadly follow-up from the defense of TWT. And now you have a 4 versus 4, but Ziff is so low, and Neptune is dancing around some very sturdy sand. And the Sheriffs ain't doing too bad from the TWT side. And Core only left with 2. At least they regained control of the spike, but this is an awkward round.
Zeldris has a showstopper, so you're hoping that he's going to be able to get 1 kill and come out of it unscathed, or at least takes 2 for his troubles to allow Ziff to maybe get a clutch. Because this contact play is not going to work. They hear this turret around the corner. They know that the KJ is somewhere. But the KJ is actually towards B. Showstopper then comes out. It'll allow at least for a plant to come down. I mean, you got to get that spike to somebody else here to plant because you got a showstopper in your hands. He's like, screw it. I'm just going to plant.
30 seconds left.
Space created. Oh, you heard that loud, slow door. At least one person is there. But do they expect 2? Pancakes taken out from that flank. And Core just holding it down on the site. TWT trying to split up their forces. Using the boom bot as a distraction. Will exposes themselves. And Mame, how are they trying to synergize? They're going all the way to the top. Mame, this is taking a lot of time, and you have a Bucky. Ziff just needs to be sneezed on, and this could work out. Mame picks up the kill, obviously, but is there really any time to defuse? Zeldris has to just prevent this from happening, and it's a W for Zeldris.
What a save in the end there for Zeldris and for Core. A 2 versus 4. A simple trap play with an orb on the Prowler Paranoia to allow TWT to get such a stronghold on that mount, dropping guns, and the nerve of Zip to push towards Waterfall at 5 HP to win a crucial fight towards Waterfall, to then allow Zeldris to win that clutch on a 1v2 on that Zippo clutch just because Ziff was able to run that clock down from that kill they had on Waterfall. That is big balls. And for a team right now, for Core, you mentioned them being new, to still win rounds like that is showing a lot of promise.
And we're showing a lot of util for Rubble control. It is won by Core. His first blood to Zeldris. Feeling the fire for his team. Maybe helping him get orb control, but now that Baby Door is open, there's a looming threat of TWT from the mid site, and Core don't want to trap themselves. On the other side of Tree is Will. C-Dog is just going to see how close could that door player be playing, and got smoked off, so not sure how much intel the Owl Drone really got. Meanwhile, you have a Viper's Pit at C. One option down. Tries to check the corner. Picked the wrong one. 2-piece by Mame. But you shred down the forces of Core down to 3. A one-man advantage. Plant goes down for B. But the retake around the corner. Pecky is there, but has to wait from Will to come all the way from the A site. He has to play slow.
2 Nanoswarm set 2 on a pulse plan, and Shock Dart probably to come through window or a bounce in from main. They're in a good spot here for Core on the pulse plan at the advantage that they have.
Ores and ore.
Hey, defenders on site, but they're about to get surrounded and conquered if they're
One
not
enemy
careful,
remaining.
but they try to bite back against Core, who still are picking them apart thanks to the snake bite there from Snarly, and taking too much time out of TWT to get it done. So a big win from Core to even things up.
And again, we cycle through the econ where TWT has to play another eco. And so far in these ecos, they've done 2 trap plays towards the seaside. Is Core going to be stubborn and say, let's try it again and tap at the right moment and stay away in
One
terms of
enemy
distance from the
remaining.
paranoid and actually just get those players flooding out? Or will they just try to pivot towards the A side? It seems to be the latter. 3 players moving on that side. Still have those 2 same players moving in towards Mound, though. They want to make sure if they could read a perfect trap on that seaside attempt. Prowler coming out from A instead.
And TWT would ideally like to get close to this A lobby. A drone's about to come out, kiss lips with, I guess, the boom bot, but Core, at least know that there's a raise over here somewhere. And I don't know if you really want to mess with Will. Not today. It's a quick transition from Core, satcheling in, overwhelming Pecky on contact. Seltris with 2. Clean turn. And that will mean a plant for Core, but the immediate retake is coming through the top site here with Pancakes. Not having paranoia, but having shots. No, not the aim to help out. And Will wasn't there. And he just gets pieced up by Snarly. Wasn't expecting him around the corner. And Neptune in a 1v5, just hoping to catch some strays. Here and Snarly stomp by. And nope, can't get that done either.
That was a gnarly shot by Snarly, but I love here and under that pressure to give that spike over to Zeldris to plant so they have a showstopper to work with. Keep that in the back pocket as we're looming towards the later rounds here of this series, of this
Enemy
map,
remain.
where you finally have Core taking a lead into this one in the position, in the push that they have on the attack now for Core on the pulse plan to just fight against the Sheriffs. They want to move in right now with full confidence. They're going to do so towards the B side in round number 20.
5 rounds in a row, too, by Core. Ooh, showstopper right through mid. The turret is harassing him. Zeldris doesn't really care. Took some unnecessary damage either way. Tries to place the boom bot down. Snarly picks up a kill on Pancakes before he could take out his teammate. And Core, ooh, that paint shells kind of hurts. But a flank goes down nonetheless. Paranoia, true baby door, and a pit through the top of the site to
like
cover the
this.
spike.
Yeah, and because they put this pit towards the spawn, if this lockdown's being used by Mummy, they could still play towards the spawn where they're holding outside of the radius of the ult. And therefore, there's nobody actually flanking from the spawn side from TWT. So they're in a strong spot here for the retake. Or for the pulse.
I was wondering if this lockdown was going to be used, and now it's gets responded to by Ziff's lockdown. Now both get neutralized. This was a big turning round for both teams with 6 ults being online. And who's coming out on top right now is Core, at least not in the numbers, but because the spike's about to go off, Will is going to try to get it halfway. He is hit by the pit, but TWT, they deny it. Or Core denied the defuse, and Core go up more rounds.
That is an insane round to try to follow what the hell was going on because of the amount of ults that came through. And at the same time as we're placing down the ults, everybody's getting run down to just break the lockdown that was set on a pulse plan from Ziv.
Last
Therefore,
player standing.
allowing the pit to stay up, allowing the shock darts to get good value out of T-Dog because you have people decaying going into the spike. Deniability off the snake bite 2 to not allow anybody to get it at halfway. So despite losing numbers, they still had time on their side for Core. Taking the lead by 2 now, fighting towards the mound, getting an opening kill. And they're running away now with this map.
TWT need to turn this around. This is so tough. 6 rounds now. All the fire, all the wind is in the sails of Core. And TWT are missing a defender, but that was Will just being cheeky. This is fine. Core approaching now C. And what? TWT are just leaving.
They're okay with it. They're gambling that. They're doing the same type of pivot towards C to A. They want to gamble some damage being done towards the A site, and if it doesn't work out, maybe even save this Phantom. I'm trying to get value off exits for the ones that are lower. So they have to play it safe. At this point, you're going to have to try to play for the tie. Or continue to
TWT.
snowball the economy too. That's crazy.
Yeah. And Pancakes has teleport, but do you want to invest into this round? You could go to the attacker's spawn and do something fun, but I think what's not fun right now is hearing the spike take down, and TWT haven't even tried to swing on the site yet, and Nerve wants to collect.
One enemy
Okay,
remaining.
utility thrown in his face, and still Core come out on top. And Mame didn't even want to be part of that party. He's not even going to try, but hopes to get some exit frags. Hearing all this celebration going on, and I thought he was going to be able to catch Zeldris there.
Mame wants to use the money
Match
spray.
point.
Hey man, he's an ex Wall Street guy, so he knows what it's like to build the stacks. But definitely not building the stacks in terms of the win column currently for TWT on their defensive half. I mean, they've won pistol, they've won anti-eco, and have lost every single round since. 7 in a row for Core to close out the map. The buy is still good here for TWT, and they have a showstopper to try to keep the dream alive. And if there's heavy pressure coming out towards this A side, I think right now for Core, they're trying to bait out the showstopper if they can. Or just kill it. Or just kill it.
Man!
Or just kill it.
Nice double kill. Not looking good for TWT. And Will had paint shells and didn't want to maybe pressure that corner in front of Rubble there. And I think TWT are maybe just more focusing on map 3 at this point. This is now 5 versus 2 with Core paving down the roads that they travel on. TWT rely on Mame. It's about to be all wrapped up pretty soon. At least picks up 1. Now Paranoia that he dodges, sees Nerve on the other side and dancing away. Core. And they've just been playing their lives when they have the spike planned. It's so well. And Mame picks up a second, now down to 6 HP, but 3 more people to go. And you just gotta go for it. It's match point for Core. Mame's got knives out. Procs the Killjoy utility. And Core just sending everything at him. And Core will take map number 2 to send us to the decider.
Well, a great way you could say, look at T-Dog. He's pumped up. He's pumped up. Everybody's turning around. Everybody's landing so far. They got the momentum back, the winner sails to try to say, hey, we got this on bind. It was tough when they had to really go against the aim duels that together were terrific, built out there on that first map, but closing the way that they did on the second half to win as many rounds as they did on the attack, since getting their gun round in check, that's looking pretty good for the momentum for the third map.
Yeah, isn't that funny that TWT won Breeze, which was Core's pick, and then Core won Lotus, which was TWT's pick, and we're in opposite day, but we got one more map left to go, everybody, before the end of the day, before we decide our big winner. But first, we have to throw to a break, so we'll see you after this.
Face.